look at where men are at and say, actually, we both forgot our own divinity. Like in this period of what to me is, thousands of years of human society existing predominantly from trauma consciousness, so many men had to dehumanize themselves and everyone else to succeed in such a brutal world.
Mhm.
And for me, like nobody thrives under that consciousness. And as much as I looked around and said, wow, women forgot they were goddesses, I can now look and see men have equally forgotten they were gods,
Mhm.
right? Holding societal power doesn't make you aware of your own deep divinity or the things that give you a true sense of power, right? And so there's this struggle that I see so many men in right now, because we're going to talk about divine masculine. What is that? What can that be? But what I'm seeing is like men used to be warriors, right? They used to be protectors. They used to have all of these experiences, being so much in nature, being so connected to their bodies. And there's so much going on right now that is so challenging. And you are such an icon to so many men. What do you see that they struggle with? Like, why is it hard for men to own their multidimensional masculinity the way that you do?
Well, it's evolving, thankfully, right now. I'm seeing a lot of progress in this. But what I saw early on, I took the moniker warrior poet because what I really saw is people were either warriors or they were poets.
Mhm.
And that's a very loose term of an archetype.
Mm.
So the warrior can often be very tough, very armored. Imagine an armored knight. And so they're always ready for war. Every single thing that they see is a potential threat or something to be conquered. It's like the old saying, if you're a hammer, everything is a nail,
Mm.
right? So, like, the warrior archetype can be very, very hard and very, like, it has clear direction sometimes, but also sometimes it's fighting battles that are, they're charging against windmills, to use the Don Quixote analogy of like, what are you even fighting anymore? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on here? So, I saw a lot of that, and it comes in machoism and this kind of like feeling of like strength and power in the physical form and power in the boardroom. That's all that matters.
Mm.
But it was missing the heart
Mm.
and the softness and the poet. And then so I also saw those type of men who were just like in their poetic rapture and could actually tune in and listen and were in touch with their feelings and would cry at something beautiful or something sad and could actually access the full gamut, the entire birthright of human emotion. But there were very few that crossed over
Mm.
and were warrior poets.
Mm.
And to me, I was like, that's what I want to be. And then I started finding examples of this throughout history. So take someone like Socrates,
Mm.
great philosopher. Everybody knows about Socrates as a philosopher. Probably a lot of people think of him as a frail man just thinking in his head. When you hear the stories told by Alcibiades in the histories, Socrates was a ferocious warrior,
Mm.
ferocious. And
Mm.
there's tales of him jumping in front of the line to protect his comrades in battle. And then they would go back to the fire and he would talk philosophy. So there was a well rounded example from history in Miyamoto Musashi, the greatest swordsman of all time, something like 100 duels to the death. Sometimes he didn't even bring a sword. He would just row his rowboat and take his oar off the boat and then fight to the death with an oar and win. I mean, you talk about a swordsman of that capacity. What else was he doing? He was writing, he was practicing calligraphy. He was actually in touch with this artistic flow of the muse. So I started seeing historical examples and saying, like, I want to be that. I want to be absolutely all of it.
Mm.
And so that became this guiding principle for me to unlock both sides. How ferocious can I be?
Mm.
How much can I be this vital werewolf of a man just ready
Mm.
to snarl on top of a speaker somewhere or growl in the bedroom in passionate, lustful, vital sex?
Mm.
Or can I really just drop in and listen on a fast in a mountain doing plant medicine or with a partner in the long hours as I'm holding them moving through something? Both were equally valued for me because I wanted to round out the entirety of the expression of what it meant to be a man.
Mm. So it's coming